Okay, well,
Hey,
I mean,
welcome
who
back to
gives a
Steve
shit?
Reads a Comic. What's up, Steve?
I'm talking waiver wires with my brother, and he's getting mad at me. That's what's up.
What's up, Rob?
Hey, what's going on? My brother has no idea what a waiver wire is from football.
Man, I don't give
I
a
don't
shit.
either. And I don't care to an extent. Actually, I would just Google it if I cared. So.
Hey, I had the greatest thing happen to me today at work. A beggar came up to me asking for change as I was at the back of my work truck right next to the driver does not carry cash sign. It was like something right out of Clerks when they asked them stupid questions. And I got to do my like best Vanna White impression. Like I just did this right to the side.
Dude, in the beggar's defense, I think he was talking about your pocket, not the pocket of Frito-Lay.
No, we're not allowed to carry cash. That's the part. Yeah, it says no
my
cash.
Take is he
no
might
cash.
have wanted food, which you did have a supply.
No, he asked for money. He asked for money. And when he said, "Do you have $1?" I pointed right to the no cash sign.
So, like, you don't carry cash in your pocket for, like, you personally?
No. I have a credit card.
I haven't carried cash since 1987, I think. It's been
that is against policy, Rob. Why would I do anything against policy?
I think...
Right.
That's weird.
I'm always stunned if I find cash in my pocket, and I do everything I can to get rid of it right away. It's not even legal tender to me anymore. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do with it. I hate cash.
I was just so elated that I got to point right to that sign. Like 2 seconds after, I was like, he probably couldn't read, so it probably didn't matter anyway. But it made my day. How's your guys' day going?
Dude, I don't know what to think about your story there. That's pretty sad that made your day, that a homeless guy, like, fucking...
Dude, I've been waiting for somebody to say so. Well, normally they'll ask for cash.
I know,
but... up front in the store, you know. But no one's ever came, like, they were aggressive, came to the back of my truck. You're like, hey, what you got? And I was like, no cash.
I know, but I'm saying that was your happy moment, was that fucking homeless guy.
Yeah, man. I mean, my life's not great. I mean, little things really light it up.
I don't know how to feel about that.
Well, when you have a job where they ask you for money every fucking day.
My kid came home with good conduct would make my day more than, like, that story. I don't know.
Well, to each his own, okay?
That's true.
We're all different people here.
Like 20-some years ago, I was in the flats with Bubba and I don't know who else. And driving a total piece of shit beater car. And I get out. We were going to see a concert. And I see this homeless guy walking up. Big old, 64-ounce gas station cup. Comes walking up to me. I go running up to him. And I was just like, hey, can I get $1? He got so mad at me. Like, he threatened to steal my car. He was so angry that I had the audacity to ask him for $1. And then I said, please, take it. It was still there when I came out of the fucking venue. I was so upset. I was like, I could be an insurance claim.
Was that the car he had to start with a pencil or something? Was that the car you were driving?
No, that was a different one.
Oh, okay.
That was a different car. Different beater. All new beater when I got to Ohio.
So was that
back to Ohio?
Was that 64-ounce cup? Was it full of change? Like, could he spare it? I mean,
no, I think he was drinking. I think he had bought a drink or something. Is all.
Oh.
I just remember him walking up carrying it, and I was just like, "Can I get $1?" He was so mad. I was like, "This is not your domain. Anybody could ask anybody for $1 on the street."
That would have been great if he would have stole your car.
It would, dude. It would have. I'd probably gotten more for the car than it was worth. It was so bad. And like, he made that threat, and I'm like, it was almost like just drop the keys in the fucking passenger seat. Like, here you go. Yeah. It might have been, I don't know if that was late 90s or early 2000s. I think it was early 2000s. I think it was after I got back from living in Memphis for a couple of years.
Back when we all were young and aggressive.
Back when I used to go to concerts.
Back when you went outside.
Try to avoid them nowadays. Speaking of going outside, I spent all last week outside in Upper Peninsula of Michigan.
That's right. How was your trip? Tell us all about it.
Logan wants to move up there, so he wanted to go exploring it. It was good for a couple days, and then I think I had some bad eggs at a buffet breakfast and proceeded to shit myself for 3 days in a row. Basically,
Nice.
just sat in a hotel waiting to use the toilet. Logan went out and kept exploring though, and then by the last day I went out with him again and stuff. It's very pretty, up there on Lake Superior. It's very nice.
Is Logan outdoorsy?
Kind of, I guess. I didn't know. I mean, he goes for walks all the time, but I didn't know he wanted to go hiking. And I was like, I would have done this with you, but I had to go hiking every Saturday, and I fucking hated it.
Right?
Because it was in lieu of doing anything fun during my childhood. It was just walking through nature.
That's what we were allowed to do on the Sabbath. We could hike. Were we allowed to swim? I don't remember. Rob, were we allowed to swim?
Not if you had to pay to get in.
For a while we were, and then we weren't, and then we were again. Yeah, it just depended on what sect of they were in at that moment.
So yeah. Has Logan ever been like, I want to go fishing, Dad, or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Nothing like that. I don't think he still doesn't want to go fishing, but he does like hiking. I was like, dude, we got tons of places to hike in Ohio.
Yeah,
I had no idea you had an interest. We live right by Nelson's Ledges, Whip's Ledges, or whatever. I don't know which one it is.
You can come down to Tennessee. There's tons of.
He likes being on lakes. I was like, dude, we got Kelly's Island and Putin Bay and all that kind of stuff.
Lake Erie.
Yeah, Lake Erie is disgusting. It is disgusting compared to Lake Superior. You can actually see a little bit into Lake Superior. It looks blue, for instance, when it's in daytime. It doesn't look black like Erie does.
Lake Erie's on fire,
all the time,
like the Cuyahoga River.
But it was, other than, of course, whatever happened to me.
Yeah, that's shitty. Pardon the pun.
Quite shitty.
Yeah. Well, you like staying indoors anyway, so.
I don't like staying in hotel rooms. It's fucking boring, man. Especially staring at a TV that's fucking every fucking element is set to maximum output. Like, Jesus Christ, who calibrated this fucking thing?
That's probably your worst nightmare, going into a hotel room. That's worse than going to my parents' house.
Oh, it's so bad. Like, it's just set to torch mode, man. I'm like, God damn. And you can't, they always have it configured so you can't do anything with the remote. They don't want anybody messing with it and making it better.
Yeah,
like is the only thing you
were
can
you
do
even able
point.
to lift the remote, or was it like glued to the table?
No, the remote was not attached to anything, thankfully. So, this was kind of crazy. So the hotel had it was like a Roku equipped TV, and they have all these like specialized channels. They have a Murder She Wrote channel where they just play Murder She Wrote all day, and they have a Transformers channel that plays all kinds of different Transformers cartoons and stuff. But they had like Newsmax and OAN, and Logan and I had never seen those channels, so we decided we were going to watch for a little bit, and it was probably one of the most insane 5 minutes of my life, man. We were watching some no-name, unknown presidential Republican candidate be interviewed by like this 20-something chick. I think it was on OAN. It might have been Newsmax, but I think it was OAN, and she's asking him questions about the original Judeo-Christian ethics of our forefathers, which is utter bullshit. They came over. It was religious freedom, you dumb cunt. But the best part, so she asked a question about that, which is like just a bullshit question. And then with a dead straight face, and I swear to God, I'm not making this up, she's like, so what do you plan to do about the global cabal of the new slave order if you get into office? Logan and I were like, what the fuck did you just say? She sounds like an insane person. It's just like shit they say. And they neither one, like the dude didn't even crack.
Straight face.
He didn't even miss a beat. And he's just like, well, we need to blah, blah, blah. And like, I would be like, I'm sorry. Did you just have a stroke? What the fuck did you just say? What are you talking about? The global cabal, new world slave order? I mean, like, you mean corporate America? Is that what you're talking about? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It was just, it's insane, dude. These people are fucking insane. And then the other station, Newsmax, some wannabe Tucker Carlson talking head he was talking about Amy Klobuchar and her rent in 2008 and how she rented an apartment from Chuck Todd in 2008. We have the right to know if she got her security deposit back. I'm like, these people are fucking insane and retarded at the same time. Like, what? This is what you're talking about? I thought it was just going to be all Hunter Biden.
So what if she didn't get her security deposit?
Dude, I have no idea.
She might have put a hole in the wall or something. I don't know.
Wait. What percent of the population is watching these two channels? Like,
I would tell you
all the olds.
Should we be worried in this next election?
I just read an article that Trump actually won the percentage 65 and over in the election.
I believe it, and that's who exactly who it's for.
And so it was an article on, basically, when is Trumpism gonna die? When is it gonna stop, or when is this cult gonna end? And it was basically like, well, let me show you this stat. It's like, well, is it when he goes to jail? Is it when he finally dies? No, it's probably gonna be when the people that are voting for him fucking die. That was basically what it was. It was like, that was the only demographic he won, was 65 and older. That was it.
Wow. All right.
So it's like that. Once the motherfuckers die, that's probably going to be the end of it, And until and then the article said until something else comes along, you know what I mean? Till they back something else. But it was basically like Trumpism, like MAGA shit is like, it just like this guy that like studies cults, and he's just like, it checks all the goddamn boxes, man. It's insane. Fucking insane.
So what percentage of the population is 65 and over?
A big chunk.
A lot. They won't die. COVID took out some of them, so COVID did serve a purpose in that regard. Apparently not. No, I guess it took out enough that we lost office last time. So,
dude, after all the shit that happened, I'm like, surely there's no way that he can win.
It's like Rob said, it's a cult. Like everything basically, he talks about how the elite are coming after him or whatever, and it's hilarious to me that his people, the Trumpers, are so stupid they don't understand that he is the epitome of an elite. He's a billionaire president. It doesn't get much more fucking elite than that. You know what I mean? But somebody said that, I saw a tweet though where somebody was like, the elite is anybody who doesn't like me. Basically. That's what the elite is. That's what the elite actually is. But yeah, you always talk about the elite. It's like, that dude's elite as fuck. If you're a billionaire, ex-president, former US president, you're in a very, very small club, like a very elite club,
There's like a 6-year-old girl in kindergarten doesn't like him. He's like elite.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. You're an elite. You don't like him, Rob. You're an elite. You're part of the elite, the global establishment that trying to. They're so stupid. They don't know what it means. They just keep using these words, and he's just. He's like I said, he's the epitome of what he describes. And then it's also great too. They don't see any of the irony of him spending all his time getting people to chant "lock her up," and then he went to office. And again, that's if you're president and somebody's committed a crime, he could have made it so she was prosecuted, but she didn't apparently commit any crimes worth prosecuting, or otherwise in those 4 years, Hillary Clinton would have been prosecuted. And now he's up to 4 indictments. And they're like, oh, no, this is all set up by the elites. It's like, you dumb motherfuckers. He is the elite. He committed crimes, and now he's been indicted for those crimes. That's what happens when you've actually committed a crime.
I'm just like, how? There's no way. There's no way he could win after all the shit that happened. And
no, I don't think he has a chance at winning. I mean, he's going to crush the Republican primary. He didn't even show up for the debate. And then, oh, man, I tried to tune in for the debate. Turned it off. I didn't 5
see
minutes.
any of it.
After hearing this dude named Vivek Ramaswamy talk, I was just like,
he's fucking out there.
These people, yeah, they're nuts, dude. They like Republicans, conservatives, whatever. They are into the weirdest, craziest car salesman, snake oil type people. I don't get it. It's
The
What was he
two,
saying?
so
give me
weird.
the two
give me an
can
example. What was he? I didn't see it.
it's more about in his delivery. He's this little Indian guy, and he loves Trump. So it
billionaire,
doesn't even
by
make
the
sense
way.
that he's running for president because he basically, as Logan says, he's just campaigning to be vice president at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He loves Trump, supports him, and he gets up there and he's got the whitest teeth you've ever seen. And he's just like, "Hey guys, but what do you think about this little skinny Indian guy? Where did I come from? Well, my parents were." And that's literally what he sounds like. He sounds like a DJ from 1987, and and like I said, he's got this weird perma smile with this two whited teeth,
Those
and it's just
veneers.
so creepy and weird looking and sounding, and it's just so weird. It's like it's out of Hunger Games up there on that fucking stage, dude. It just looks so fucking weird. Everybody's like, it doesn't
That is
make
the
any
perfect.
sense.
That is the perfect analogy for that, dude. Oh my god.
Puts two fingers up as
But no, it's more like the TV. You know, they got all the
The
high,
Hunger Games host is what he's
yeah,
talking
like
about.
the people who host the Hunger Games, not
Yeah,
the people,
right.
not the people who play, not the players,
yeah.
the fucking hosts. You know, Elizabeth
Oh
Banks,
god.
and like that's basically what the Republican primary looks like. It's fucking insane. It's insane. It's fucking insane.
Stanley
I know I keep
Tucci.
saying that.
Stanley Tucci. Yeah, the
Stanley
guy he
Tucci,
played.
yeah, those guys,
That's crazy. He doesn't
all
even
the
have,
elites,
he doesn't even have to debate and still won the debate.
right?
And then
he's
pulled in like 7 million within the next week.
Oh, and then he's got his
That
hand
was
out. That's
after
the other part.
indictment. That was after the indictment.
Yeah, so he sends out. I saw one of the emails that was sent out after his indictment, and how that he's not going to bow, and then he's like immediately like, so if you can donate any money, it's like, okay, so you're a multi-billionaire and you're asking for money, and people are like, okay, you're giving money to a billionaire. Like, what is wrong with you? You don't see what's wrong with any of this? A dude that just constantly talks about how rich he is, and you're like, oh, we got to help him out. We got to help out the billionaire. Like, it's these people are fucking. They're so stupid. They're so fucking dumb.
Well, you can't let Sleepy Joe win. For fuck's sake, you got to do what you got to do.
Is Joe even going to be alive for the next election?
I hope.
Probably not.
God damn,
Man.
just goddamn.
But that's I mean, I'd much rather have Sleepy Joe, man. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. I mean, you'd rather have somebody that doesn't.
I think any sane person would.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like the fucking latest admission list at fucking Arkham Asylum. You know, it's pretty easy choice for people who think for 5 seconds. What is Cosmo doing?
Yeah, what's going on with your dogs, dude?
Cosmo!
Shut the fuck up!
God damn.
You just muted yourself. That was nice.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Tired of fucking. Anyway,
where's the mute button?
I turned off my mic.
Oh, that's what you have to do.
That's what I did.
That's how you mute.
Hey, I saw Barbie.
Oh, finally!
Yeah, I really liked it, man. I thought it was funny as shit. It was great. The kids got none of the jokes, which was awesome. It was totally for me.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
like the whole, I mean, it was meant for some people that aren't gonna get it. Like the people that need to hear it are too dumb to fucking like actually take in this message. Like no matter what women do, like they can't win basically, and also guys are allowed to have feelings, like shit like that. Like it's, I don't know. I'm surprised it's doing so well because
the messaging though, no matter what women do think, I always find that very funny and self-defeatist, especially when the director of the movie is now the highest paid female director of all time. Margot Robbie has now like the highest paid actress of all time. It's like, it's a little bit of bullshit. It's a little bit of bullshit.
Well, they made that movie before the profits came in.
Exactly. But the point is, it's a little bit of bullshit.
Well, I don't know. As I've seen stuff around the world, like, did you hear about the Women's World Cup? Spain won it, and then there's just like the guy in charge of the World Cup just kissed the chick and shit like that, So like, yeah. I think we've come a long way in America, and that was in part by our women,
The kicker is he said he asked permission first, And then afterwards she was like, no, he didn't.
Right.
That
Right.
I can't speak for the rest of the world. The rest of the world is about 1 billion years behind us when it comes to that stuff. They're still castrating women in other countries.
that
Uh, but
50% of our country.
but yeah, uh, there's still horrible stuff going on. But at the same time, again, there's lots of big wins too. Lots of big W's
Dude, fucking
that we're not talking about.
fucking when Will Ferrell came out and didn't see Midge in the corner. he just walks out and he's like, "Oh, Midge, I thought we got rid of you or something. I
Dude,
thought we discontinued
Alan,
you."
Alan was my favorite. I loved Alan. I related to Alan more than anybody. He's just kind of there, like, what's going on? Don't think I belong here.
He was he thought he was going to escape, and then they turned around and went back to Barbie Land or whatever. He's like, "I'm never getting out of here."
I just love that fight scene where he just beats down everybody. It's just Alan versus all those construction workers. He just takes them all out. He's just like this total badass.
Dude, I literally laughed out loud when Will Ferrell was like, "Oh, Midge." Yeah, it was great, man. I really enjoyed it. Lots of stuff that was really funny, man, and really intuitive.
Oh, dude, it's just a really fun movie. It's well put together. Again, the production design, and it's kind of sad too that what stands out about it is actual props, like the building of actual sets and building of actual props to use. And
Yeah.
that's what made me want to go see it. Again, watching the trailers, I'm like, wow, it's not all just CG, it's not all just green screen. Like they fucking made this shit. Like, and that's attractive to me as a moviegoer. I love seeing as much practical stuff as possible.
Dude,
and it looked fantastic.
When the Kens went to war, oh my god, dude, that was so funny. And they got their tennis rackets out and everything. It was fucking great, man.
Have you been blasting that song? I feel like you're.
Oh yeah, dude, Kristen, she already knew about it before we even went into the movie. So as soon as she got out, she was playing the song.
What song is that?
The Ken song
or whatever. Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't remember what the name. I don't know the name of it, but there's it's got a soundtrack. The whole musical number they do basically.
Yeah,
the choreographed musical number was really funny.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Highest grossing movie of the year.
I don't know about that.
No, I mean it is. It's you.
No,
you're
no,
going to dispute numbers.
No, I'm saying I don't think. I think there's been other movies out that should have done better than that. But
like what?
Well, that's how it always is. But,
Guardians.
Barbie, if nothing else, was unique though.
Yeah.
It's not a comic, but it's not the 37th sequel to a comic book movie.
It was unique,
series.
but $1.5 billion or whatever it's making.
Well, that's called popular movies, though. I mean, what? That's what we're gonna get. I mean, you're not. It's rare you see an independent movie that's gonna make that much money.
I'm just saying I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my favorite movie of the year. That's all I'm saying.
Dude,
but
that's
why it's doing
man.
so well is because a lot of people enjoyed it. Like
right.
And it pulled in a lot of demographics. It wasn't just comic book movie,
Yeah,
I understand that.
That's
just saying
why it grows
for
so
me.
much.
It wasn't my favorite.
That's why Avatar does so well. It pulls in a lot of demographics.
Don't get me started on Avatar.
Blue Beetle.
I did.
Anybody Blue Beetle?
Was a lot of fun.
No, I wanted to see it.
It'll be out on streaming in like a week or two. I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, I saw it only made like 81 million worldwide, and I was like, that was partly my fault. I didn't go either.
If it would have came out in the summer, I probably would have went. But
well, I mean summer's not over.
What are you talking about?
When kids go back to school, summer is over.
Oh, okay. You're saying,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, when I got to go back to my school routine, shit's over for me, bro.
Gotcha.
Rob's like, there is no Saturday or Sunday. We can't do that.
Right.
I just heard Shawn say it was coming to streaming soon. And I was like, because I was thinking about going. And I was like, man, it's only like 2 weeks away. I'm like, I can wait.
I saw Jurassic Park in 3D last week.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, that's right. How was it?
It was great. Man, it's such a good movie. The 3D holds up, man. I was like, man, I want to watch a 3D movie on my TV.
Did you go with Keith?
Yeah, Keith, Molly, and I went.
Oh,
Steve
okay.
never texted us back until like
I had plans, so I
a
didn't
day and
say
a
I was
half.
going.
Right. Steve only checks his phone every 14 hours,
His
unless
kid-
you're sitting next to him, and then he checks it constantly.
His kid owns like 375 dinosaurs. I was like, oh yeah, Steve will probably go,
Dude,
and nothing.
dude, we had plans. I didn't
That's
go.
fine. I get it.
Like, what do you want? And I put my phone on the charger on the weekend, and I usually don't check it until the end of the night.
What'd you do Friday?
Went out drinking.
Well, you know, when we texted, we said Sunday. We'll do Sunday, and there was nothing from anybody.
All right. Well, I saw Molly said Friday night, so that's fine. Like,
And
I don't care. You know,
no, that's fine.
it wasn't. I've seen it 1,000 times. It's all right.
I know. I was thinking of your kid though, like Dom especially.
Yeah. Nobody wanted to
Steve's
go.
like, yeah,
I
fuck him.
told
That's
him.
all right, because the highlight of your day was the bum, and not like your kid coming home and saying, "Just giving you a hard time, man."
I feel like this has attacked my parenting skills here today.
I'm enjoying it. This is entertainment for me because I have no horse in this race.
We did watch Captain America, so that was something the kids really enjoyed.
The 1990 version.
No.
So here's the thread. Anybody want to go to 3D Jurassic Park? Friday night. Friday, 7:20, 7 o'clock Sunday. I'm in for Friday or Sunday. An hour later, nothing. Nothing from Steve. Nothing from Steve. Then finally we're like, okay, let's just go ahead and do it. And then Steve laughed at something like 8 hours later.
I did. I thought
So basically, you're saying he didn't even reply
Right.
to the question.
I had plans. Well, I'm not.
Okay, but you couldn't say it. You could just say
Friday
I have plans.
and Sunday, you had
What?
plans?
Well, if I'm not going, then I'm not saying anything.
still-
Nobody knew you weren't
Why?
going.
Right.
We were
Like,
trying
why
to
couldn't you
see
just say
where-
you could literally just be like, I'm out.
That's
That's
what I
it.
do all the time. I just say
Just,
I'm
I'm
out.
not available.
I say
Can't do
I'm
it.
out all the time.
No, but you didn't say that. You didn't say anything from what I understand.
Okay,
Which
well,
I hate. So I got to side with Rob on this. I hate the no reply thing when somebody's specifically asking, like, "Hey, you want to go do this?"
Yeah.
I'd rather have somebody say,
Just say
no.
no. Yeah.
than just,
I'm like, dude, you're
just
not
sit in
hurting my
limbo.
feelings. I just want to know because I'll feel bad if you like, you know.
were you
Or
buying
see-
the tickets? Were you buying the tickets for everyone?
Yeah.
So
Oh.
yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. If you're waiting to buy tickets together, you don't want.
Oh,
you know
well,
what I mean?
didn't know
You
you were
just
planning on buying for everybody.
But you didn't ask.
Okay.
wanna-
Well, if you don't get a reply, then you know I'm not going, right? Like, isn't that
Well, we don't-
obvious?
We
No,
went
you-
without you.
Oh, yeah.
But again,
so everything went on to plan.
No, here's the thing. If he gave you 2 days, if he gave you Friday and Sunday, like, what if you reply on Saturday and like, yeah, I want to do that, and then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, we went Friday because you didn't reply.
But I did reply. I laughed at one of the comments, so they know I saw everything.
After we had already bought the tickets like 3 hours later.
Well, yeah, that's when I saw the fucking thing.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough.
What the fuck are you guys? What are you trying to do? What are you guys trying to do?
People just want replies to questions. It's not a big deal,
Okay.
in my opinion.
Thought we'd gone over
reply.
this multiple times. It's not that hard. If I don't reply,
You're
I don't
getting
reply.
defensive.
Well, I don't
All right.
understand
I
why
think the
you
lesson
guys
here is
always
just
attack
don't
me.
invite
For fucking,
Steve. Don't invite Steve.
there
That's
you go.
the
There you go.
takeaway.
There you go.
Actually, I know people that just stop texting you. And so, because it's like, oh, he never replies. So I just stopped texting.
There you go. No,
That's
Can't
what you
face
want
Steve.
in life. You're on your way to it, bro.
I'm not. If you don't want to text me, that's fine. I don't give a shit.
All right.
If you want to text me, text me.
All right, we're
I
sucking all
don't
the
think
energy out of
Steve
this
understands
Zoom call.
friendship.
But yeah, I think most people prefer just some kind of reply, even just a negative, just no thanks, hard pass.
I laughed at a fucking
Go
comment.
fuck yourself goes a long way. Just go fuck
Comment.
yourself.
Everyone knew
It
I
doesn't
saw
mean
it.
anything. Dude,
Everyone
here's the other
knows I
thing.
saw it.
If you're in a group chat, like the three of us and three of our other friends are all in a group chat, right? I don't get all those messages, meaning like I literally don't receive them all because some people are on Android, some people are on Apple. So I'll see like all of a sudden I'll just see a string of people laughing at something and I don't have the picture. Like it never showed up. So my point is it could have been you never even got the text. So that's what they don't even know if you got it because you never replied to it. So, but like I said, I'll see a string when I'm in a group chat. There's like a malfunction, and all of a sudden everybody's laughing at an image, and I'm like, I got no fucking image. I got no image. I want to laugh at the image, but I can't see the image.
That's how
So that's
half the
why.
shit in that group text that we're all in with your friends. I don't see the stuff because it's like Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and it's like I don't have any of that shit. It's like so I click it on, and then I can't even get it, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Well, I'm talking like literally like it won't even come through like
Yeah.
my phone. Like there's no record of
Wow.
it on my phone. Sometimes it's not all often. But yes, sometimes, like I said, something or people will start commenting on a picture, and I'm just like, I don't see the picture. I want to see the picture. I want to be part of the group, man.
But if somebody specifically asks you, hey, you want to go to the concert tomorrow night?
Right.
You'll just laugh at their image 3 hours later.
That's your response, basically. That's how you respond.
Right.
I don't understand. You
No,
guys
you don't.
you obviously have proper etiquette.
You don't.
You guys are great. Okay.
It's not.
No, it's
dude,
not even
I don't
that.
know why you wouldn't like. You don't really at this age in your life. You don't think it's normal to just reply to people with a yes or no.
I thought me laughing at one of the comments was a reply. I'm
That is
sorry. That
a reply
means
to the question.
okay. Well,
Like I said, for all we know, you didn't get the text or you didn't see the text. Maybe you actually didn't see it. I don't know.
okay. Well, I thought
That's
when
all.
it says
That's all I'm saying.
Steve laughed
Honestly-
at this comment, I thought everybody knew.
Honestly,
I'm sorry.
at this
you guys
point,
are better.
we just know you're not going to respond. So that we just wouldn't bought the ticket.
I respond all the time when you tell me you
like
go
sometimes I'll
if I
call
go
you.
frisbee golf, I'll be like, I'm out. It's too hot. I respond all the time. What are you guys fucking talking about?
All right. Anyway, this is never going to end.
No, and it
let's
won't
move on.
change. But that's fine.
Let's talk about Ahsoka. Is everybody seen all 3 episodes of Ahsoka so far?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So, for those of you who don't know, or for just as
I have.
somewhat of a summary, Ahsoka is kind of a sequel to Star Wars Rebels, which was an animated series that went for 4 seasons some years back. All 3 of us enjoyed the series. It had some really good stories and characterization. I enjoyed it more than the Clone Wars stuff. It had a lot less filler episodes, a lot more character development, a lot less clones. It's a lot less of that Kiwi voice actor. So it kind of picks up, some of the with some of the characters, some of the surviving characters or not missing characters from that series, including Ahsoka, who she wasn't really a part of Rebels. She just kind of cameoed, and she was in a few essential episodes basically, but she wasn't really the main cast. So it was Harrison Dula, her husband Kanan Jarrus, or partner, whatever, Ezra Bridger, who is Kanan Jarrus's apprentice, Sabine Wren, a Mandalorian. You had Chopper. You had Garub / Zeb Aurelius, I think was his last name, Aurelios, who had a brief cameo in the last season of Mandalorian at the Rebel Bar. Is all we've seen of him. And I think did I mention Chopper the droid?
Yes.
There's Chopper the droid. And then, of course, there was it is I, Hondo Onaka. He wasn't actually.
No,
he was not a main character, but he was he was on the show though. But hopefully, Hondo Onaka shows up. So anyway, we've seen Ahsoka since then in the Mandalorian. Converging storylines with the Mandalorian, and now we get the Harrison Dula, Sabine Wren, Chopper angle. And so I think those of us who are fans of Star Wars Rebels, we're looking forward to it. Also, probably people who just watched Clone Wars and just maybe know of Ahsoka from that. She was a major part of Clone Wars. So we get this show, and they do a 2 episode premiere, which in my mind is a bad thing. As soon as they start announcing multi-episode premieres, I know that now they've conditioned me now to take that as, oh, the first episode isn't that good, so we need to air more to get your attention. And I was right. They conditioned me well. And this show isn't bad. I need to say that because I'm going to probably say a lot of negative stuff, and people are like, "Wow, he really hates it." I don't hate it. I am going to pick it apart because it's Star Wars. This ain't no Boba Fett. This ain't no Boba Fett bad. Book of Boba Fett is it's fucking awful. Obi-Wan Kenobi was almost just as bad. So this is above those. It actually has action, but man, is it slow compared to Rebels. And so Dave Filoni is like co-creator of the Ahsoka character, the Clone Wars, Rebels, all that stuff. He's had huge hand in Mandalorian and everything. But I think this is like the first series that's like almost all him just doing all the writing. And I kind of feel like he's trying to prove that he can do live action because these episodes are slow as shit, man. We're like episode 3 out of 8. Not a lot has happened.
Dude, it's so slow. I mean, it's putting me to fucking sleep slow. Like, just
Yeah.
it's just all the acting is just it's so drab. And like, was Ahsoka that drab in Mandalorian? I don't remember.
Not
No.
quite. She had a little bit more spark and charm to her because I do remember that. But definitely I went back and watched one of the last episodes of Rebels that she was in, and she was portrayed by a voice actor named Ashley Eckstein, who also basically you kind of have to credit her for co-creating the character to some extent because she's voiced her since she was a little girl on the Clone Wars. So she definitely has a lot of influence there. Excuse
Yeah,
me.
like everything I love about Ahsoka, her spunk, her defiance, her high energy is just
Yes,
completely missing from this
Well,
completely
characterization.
gone.
that's what I said to Shawn. I was like, like in Clone Wars, she was spunky and that
She
kind
was
of
a
a
kid in
brat.
Clone Wars for
Yeah.
the most part. She really
And
grew
then
up on that series.
right. Then in Rebels, she was a little more disciplined, but she
She was
still
older. She was
had,
mature.
yeah, she still had energy though. And
Yeah.
now, there's no energy whatsoever in the character. Like it just,
Yeah, she just walks around with her arms crossed the whole
yeah.
time. It's
But
just like what is going on?
I I don't know if they're trying to retrofit the goddamn uh last three Star Wars movies. I don't know what they're doing here because I could give a crap less. Why is Sabine? I don't want Sabine to be a Jedi. That's what Ezra was for. You know what I'm saying? I want Sabine to be the one with the gun. I want her to be the Mandalorian. You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
don't. That's where I think this has gone wrong. That's not Sabine I watched. You know what I mean? I don't
Did
know.
was
I don't
Ahsoka
like this. Go ahead.
was Ahsoka training Sabine to be a Jedi in Rebels?
Never.
I don't
Yeah.
remember that at all.
No. No.
Okay, so this is just something they're introducing now.
Yeah, and that's the part of the story I don't like, and I don't care. I don't know if they're doing it to have Jedi shit, So there's another. I don't know. That's why you should have just bring in Ezra quick. I don't know. I don't like where it's. That's my problem with it.
So yeah, they've definitely shoehorned in this Jedi training thing, which I'm not against, honestly. I mean, more Jedi is good. I like Jedi, right? I like Sabine Wren. However, it's almost as if he took the backlash for how Rey was just a Swiss Army knife in the sequel trilogy, where she repairs the Millennium Falcon and figured it out before Han Solo could figure out how to do it, which is mind-blowingly stupid thing to do. But aside from, I mean, just everything, she was good at using the Force. She taught herself the Force. She taught herself lightsaber. She was just the answer to everything. She was the ultimate Mary Sue, more so than even Batman is. Um, it's almost like they took a step back with Sabine, and Sabine has no aptitude for
Yeah,
anything anymore. She was a very competent Mandalorian, and again, smart and everything. I mean, she did open up the map, but like Steve and I were talking about, I was like, I'm pretty sure a 5-year-old could open that map. After watching how it opens, like, yeah, that wouldn't take too long. But it looked less complicated than a Rubik's cube.
Right, right,
And
exactly.
anyway, but now she can't even fire a gun on a ship. Like, what is happening? And there's just it's kind of weird, and maybe they're just gonna go with maybe she won't succeed. I feel like they're gonna do the traditional. She's gonna find the Force in the end thing. Um, it would be different if they were just like, she doesn't got it. She got no midichlorians.
the
Like,
droid was right.
Right, the droid was dead right, man. This chick cannot do anything.
Worst of the
She's not
worst.
force sensitive whatsoever. But I don't think that they're going to go that route. But so I'm okay with that. But also to Rob's point, is it really necessary? I don't know. I guess they really want to explore the master apprentice thing, and she was like the closest thing at the time.
And to Rob's point, you know how one of the sequels ended. They're like, well, anybody can have the Force or whatever.
Yeah, well, they keep messing with all of that stuff, and they just keep finding more and more Jedi. I just love how they're like, there are no Jedi left. And it's like, it seems like there's a lot of fucking Jedi left,
right?
Right,
Jedi everywhere. Turn around, it's a goddamn Jedi. It's like, Jesus Christ, like fucking Starbucks, man.
and these new Sith are not as terrifying as I want them to be. Like, I'm going
to cut you off because I like the Baylan Skull dude because I like that he's not playing like a corny Sith. Like, we have that Morgan Elsbeth. She's doing the over the top fucking B movie villain portrayal that I hate. I was really glad when she was gone in The Mandalorian. I was like, that chick can't act. And she's back now. It's like, fuck.
A witch.
She's literally like, this chick she just has that stereotypical evil delivery of everything where she's just like, I would like a chocolate ice cream cone and I would like sprinkles on my cone. Like, that's how she delivers every fucking line. It's like, calm down, bitch. Baylan Skull is like, I don't want to kill Ahsoka. It'd be a shame, you know? And he's not saying it sarcastically. Like, he clearly has some ties to the Jedi. They talked about his lightsaber design or something like that, I think. And,
okay, so he's going to be good in the end?
Well, no, I don't know about that.
I want to be petrified of the Sith, man. That's just me.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know that they're Sith, though. I think that's where they're going at.
Well, exactly. He said, you were right. I am no Jedi. So
that doesn't mean he's a Sith.
Ahsoka's not a Jedi either.
Right. So that doesn't mean he's a Sith. But yeah, they're definitely not. I mean, whether he's a Sith or not, though, I do like that he's kind of playing it as a more human character. And the reason I appreciate that, because I feel like the whole point of being a Sith versus a Jedi is like a monastic order, right? They're not supposed to take a partner, all this bullshit. The Sith are supposed to fucking party, man. They're supposed to be like, snorting blue milk and, fucking snake-headed ladies. And you know what I mean? Like, they're supposed to be the opposite side of that. And they just seem so joyless. And this guy just seems a little bit more human about it. And I like that.
Dude, I mean, he's all about power. Like, he almost blew his load talking about power to the other girl. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's going the Sith route, Well,
whatever. He's basically a hired gun too. I mean, from the witch hired.
Morgan Elsbeth is your big bad so far, but Thrawn is ultimately going to be the big bad. I think, unless that's just a big MacGuffin. But yeah, and then Steve and I were talking too. Like, they've probably spent like 20 to 30 minutes just showing different fucking takes on this map. It's like, it's a fucking map. It's not exciting. It's not cool. We get it. And then, like, they discover it. Then they finally open it. And then the other people take it. And then they open it.
They open a bigger map.
Right. It's just like map after map. It's like, it's a fucking map. It's like, no, this shouldn't be exciting. And I was telling Steve, I was like, the tech in Star Wars used to be in service to the story. And now they're taking this fetishistic approach to every piece of tech where they're zooming in and the fucking bombastic music's playing as if this is such a cool thing. Whereas when we were introduced to a lightsaber, it's like, oh yeah, it was their father's weapon from a more civilized time, and Luke's just kind of handling it, and then they move on. And meanwhile, it's it's one of the most iconic weapon in movie history, I would dare to say. And they don't, but they approach it like a car commercial where they're like zoomed in and it's slow motion and everything. And it's like, it's a fucking map. It's just a goddamn map. Nobody cares. We know what a map is. I have one on my phone.
It was like, it set the tone in the beginning with over dramatization, though, with that when she went into that, the map room,
Right.
And it took her like, it was like, I swear to God, it was like 7 minutes of her just listening to a fucking post and turning some shit. I'm like, just get to it. We know what's going on. Hurry this scene up, So over dramatic, this whole series.
And then the same thing when Sabine opens the map. It's the same goddamn thing. And it's just like, stop with the fucking drama over this map. It's a map that leads to Ezra and Thrawn. We know this. We already know this. We don't care. It's a little tiny globe. It doesn't, stop it. It's driving me nuts, man. Like, it's so decompressed. Like,
Dude.
get to the fucking story, man.
Dude, the Loath Cats have had more enticing dialogue in this series than our heroes.
But yeah, Ahsoka is just crossed arms and monotone at all times, talks super slow to everybody. These conversations are boring, they go nowhere. I like Harrison Dula. I do like Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Harrison Dula. I think she's crushing it. I appreciate all the butt shots we're getting, so that's good. But she's playing the character great. Ahsoka is just.
Let's go back to the butt shots. I thought that was just my algorithm showing me all these butt shots, but apparently you guys were sending them to me too. So I was like, okay, so it's not just me looking at fucking asses all day.
And then this third episode, can we talk about the spacewalk scene? Does anybody want to broach the spacewalk scene?
Man, it was so corny, dude.
God damn. Ahsoka goes out and she's like, I'm going to go outside the ship, right? Their ship is stalled in space. And she has the most elaborate space suit helmet I've ever seen because of her tentacles. I thought it was hilarious. I'm like, I guess it makes sense, but could they just do like a breather mask or something?
Dude.
Literally, all her tentacles are covered by this mask.
I was just like, at that point, I was like, just make her character able to breathe in outer space, you know? Like, we don't need the suit.
Do you remember in Empire when Han and Leia, when they go out after they hide in the asteroid, they believe they're hiding in an asteroid, but they're actually inside of a creature in an asteroid. They just had these little breather masks on, and they're fine. That's all they had to do.
Well, they weren't in space, though. They were
they were definitely in space.
Well,
they thought they were in space. They didn't know they were in a creature, but they were definitely in an asteroid in space.
I guess.
So they just had these little breather masks on. They didn't put on these whole elaborate suits. And meanwhile, I'm just like, how did Ahsoka even put that motherfucker on? Like, it was so absurd. It's so elaborate. Like, who made that?
You know how you like
Gruden heads
when you put on a glove for the winter, and sometimes one of the fingers gets stuck in the wrong finger slot.
Right.
I just imagine that, like when she's putting on, like, I got the tentacle in the wrong slot.
So elaborate. So she goes out in this incredibly elaborate suit made specifically for Togruten heads, and proceeds to have a fucking lightsaber fight with a ship, and then she jumps. The jumping is what got me when she would kind of do the cartwheels or whatever, and I'm just like, this looks so bad. Why are they doing this?
She's got like,
why are they doing this?
She's got like her hands and her legs like spread
This
out,
cartwheel.
you know? And it
looks so bad.
It looks so fucking stupid, dude.
It looks so bad. I don't know why they did that. Rob, have you seen the new episode?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because you're not. I wasn't sure if you saw this.
What's that Leonardo da Vinci thing where, you know,
the Vitruvian Man?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, she's just, slow-mo flipping through space because it's space, so it makes sense that she's moving slow. But I'm like, this doesn't look good at all. Like, have her go out there like Drax with like some giant gun or something, Like, I don't know, had her flipping around in space. And I'm just like, what is? And that's what I texted you guys, and I was like, am I just too old for Star Wars now? What is happening to this show?
I mean,
like, I don't.
I like he's going for it, I like he's trying something new,
But again, it's you. So you see the big ring, like that's the big reveal, right? And we don't. As soon as you see the ring, you're like, oh, that's how they're going to get to Thrawn and Ezra, right? And that we think they're going to get sucked, into it or go through it at some point in this episode. Nope, they just reveal that that's the ring. That's how they get to Thrawn and Ezra. And I'm like, fucking hell! It's now they're just crashed on a planet. I feel like the next episode is going to be them just fighting forces on a planet now. Yeah. And I'm just like, dude, get to Thrawn and Ezra. What is happening?
Did you
dude, maybe it'll all pay off. I could be wrong about all this. It could get better, but man, it's slow right now, man.
What have you thought of Ahsoka and her fight scene so far? Are you enjoying those?
The lightsaber fights are solid. Yeah, other than the spacewalk one, the lightsaber fights are great. I like the lightsaber fights. And also Merrick or Marok, whatever that guy. Apparently he's played by Sam Witwer. I just found that out.
Cool.
So that's it. Because I'm wondering,
Darth
who
Maul.
is that guy? They're gonna at least reveal who's in that suit. Is it gonna be important? Is it a nothing burger? What is it?
That's the Snake Eyes guy.
Yeah. He has the Inquisitor lightsaber.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious because Sam Witwer, like his history actually goes back to one of my favorite Star Wars video games. He played He played Darth Vader's secret apprentice, known as codename Starkiller. But his name in that was Galen Merrick. Like his actual name was Merrick, and his name in this is like Marak or something. I thought that was interesting. I don't know if that matters. It's just kind of a reference to that. But yeah, before he played
I
Darth
hope
Maul.
that's not Ezra because that's stupid.
Oh, it's not Ezra. That wouldn't make any sense. That would make zero sense. That would I don't. He's a hired gun from what I can tell. He's another. He's like with Balin. He's just another hired gun,
Well, he's
former
got the
Inquisitor.
Inquisitor, yeah, former Inquisitor.
But I don't know who else it could be, or if it's going to be any. I don't think at all it's Ezra. That would be really stupid. But I've said that before about Star Wars. Surely they won't do this, and then they do it.
Because how the hell did he get back? I mean,
he's not. I don't think it's Ezra.
And why would he be fighting Ahsoka? Like,
yeah.
Well, he could be brainwashed. I don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's Ezra. I think I feel like it should be somebody of significance, or it's going to be nobody of any significance. Basically,
it's going to be. I
don't think it's Ezra though.
What was that? Oh, it was what was that guy's name from WandaVision? What was it? Ended up being nobody. Whatever.
I don't remember.
One of those.
But yeah, it's a little disappointing. Again, it's not Book of Boba Fett disappointing. Also because I'm not as invested in Ahsoka as I am Boba Fett. But there is action though. There are there's combat. What? It's not her climbing in and out of a back tank every week. So there's that.
Jeez, I forgot about that. But I mean, it started off and it felt like Star Wars, and that's why I texted you guys after I watched like the first 5 minutes. I was like, "Oh wow, this is," and then it just dragged.
Yeah, they're killing it with the screen wipes. They're killing it in that regard.
The wipes are great.
What'd you think of the lightsaber to the chest? And I'm okay.
Oh no, I'm fine with that because it. I went back and watched. Well, he got it right in the center. So evidently there's no vital organs over here, and the technology has advanced. So
see, I think it was stupid because basically you're diminishing how deadly lightsabers are because the recovery time is minutes from what I can tell from what looks like a fatal lightsaber wound. You are up and about the next fucking day. Now again, they've done ridiculous stuff. They brought Darth Maul back from being cut in half, which they shouldn't have done, honestly. But the fact that Sabine just fully took a lightsaber and then was just fine is weird to even do that. I feel like they should have done like Obi-Wan, where they kind of injured his leg a little bit, Yeah. Kind of took him out of commission with, but like going like a lightsaber fully through your midsection, that's got to leave some fucking damage, dude. Like that, I don't care what your tech is at that point, but if your tech is that good, then lightsabers suck. I don't know what to tell you.
Here's the thing. Sabine should have never had a fucking lightsaber to begin with. Should have been a gun and her helmet. You know what I mean? That's
right.
That's where they went
or a combination
wrong,
of both. She should be using both.
Right.
That's what.
Right.
This goes back to the freaking villains that aren't competent or terrifying, in my opinion. Like once you get her, you get her in the chest, go ahead and just slide that lightsaber all the way across, or up to her skull. Just keep it going. Just do a circle
or sideways or whatever. Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Make sure that bitch is dead.
And that's what I mean, though. Like they shouldn't even have. Like I said, it diminishes the power of the lightsaber. They should have done a different type of wound or something, or multiple wounds, and because that would have also shown how. Because they're saying how poor she is with the lightsaber. So if she had like tagged her in the leg and then maybe the other leg, like almost like Monty Python style,
I'm okay.
just kind of left her there to say. But recovering from a lightsaber wound all the way through, that was a weird choice in my opinion. But again, they did bring back Darth Maul, which I was not on board with. I thought Darth Maul I like Darth Maul, but unlike Boba Fett, who fell into a creature whose stomach acid is of such low acidity, it takes 1,000 years to digest something. It's like, well, there's no reason he shouldn't escape from that. That would be easy. However, this lightsaber right through, and she's just like, I'm okay. It's like, what the fuck? How are you okay? And literally like a day later, she's in her Mandalorian armor. God damn.
I'd rather have Darth Maul with spider legs than this new.
Right.
Like Ray Parks or Ray Stevenson, he's all right. But what's the other character's name? His apprentice?
I don't know her name. I like her though. I mean, she doesn't say much, but I like her. I think she's fine.
No, I don't. I think she's
Sati or something like that.
I don't know. Sati. I made
Hey,
it for you.
hey, I saw something on of Instagram where someone had deciphered the 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 intro in Ahsoka. You know how like or after the when the credits roll, you know how they have this like foreign language everywhere. Somebody like deciphered the map. You know, like where it's going. You know how all those lines lead to one point at the very end of the credits.
I have not noticed that, but I
Oh,
believe
okay.
you.
Okay.
I don't pay that much attention.
Well, I'm saying it looks like Lord of the Rings fucking like script, you know, and
Oh, okay.
somebody on the internet like figured it out, and I
Is it
like
or is it in Orobesh? Is that what the language
fuck if
is?
I know, but like they figured out Corellia, Coruscant, and I guess the last point where all those lines intersect at that one spot is Peridia. So I don't know.
I
Have
thought the
we?
lines branched off though too.
They
Go
did.
different
They were
places.
shooting through the whole thing, but they all culminate in this one spot at the
Okay.
very end, and
I
that's
I find it hard to just sit through an entire episode, so I'm paying no attention to the credits. I can
well,
tell you that much.
you got to give that
I
guy props though. He's like going through freaking code and shit.
Oh,
Like,
dude, that's hardcore Star Wars fans. I'm not even remotely surprised about that.
right?
That's yeah. I could give a shit less. I couldn't give a shit less
What
about that
about the?
stuff.
Were you guys happy to see the space whales at all?
I mean, we kind of knew that was coming. The Purgle or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Again, you have to have seen Rebels to appreciate them. I think. I
Well,
don't think
that's
they've
why I'm
shown up
talking to you
anywhere else.
guys. Did you guys
Yeah,
appreciate
I
it?
mean, it made well. Again, I thought we were getting a lot closer to Ezra and or Thrawn, and then only to find out it's going to be like Survive in the Jungle episode next week is what it looks like. They might quash that real quick and they might escape real quick, but man, they are fucking dragging this shit out. I'm just like, please just go back to movies. Man, like The Mandalorian and Andor are the only decent series they've had. This and I it occurred to me too. I was like, well, those are more ground level heroes too. They're not lightsabers. We need the lightsaber stuff in the movies. We need the magic in the movies, and leave the ground levels. You could do ground level stuff on TV shows. It seems to work out, but as soon as that there's lightsabers involved, it just I don't. They just don't have the budget. I don't know what's going on. It just doesn't look as good. The show looks cheap as shit, man.
I don't think it looks that cheap.
Oh, I do, dude. Her headdress, Ahsoka's
Okay.
headdress,
Okay.
looks like
Yes. Her. Yeah.
she looks like she pulled it off the rack at Spirit Halloween, dude.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Like,
Okay. I will. When you get close up on that, it's like foam latex or whatever. Yeah, you can
yeah.
tell. You can see the creases and everything.
And everybody's, one thing about Star Wars that was always a thing in the original movies is everybody looked like, even when you saw the rebels on the ship in the opening scene, their uniforms didn't look brand new. Everybody's outfit looks brand new on this show. Every fucking officer, like, it's not faded from washing or anything. Everything looks brand fucking new. Like, age that shit, man. Like, that was part of the Star Wars. I understand in the prequels it was different because that was when the Republic was burgeoning and everything, so everything looked crisp and nice. But post original trilogy era, stuff is supposed to look run down, man. Not supposed to look crisp and clean.
Well, that's why they ran down her tentacles.
Her tentacles look brand new off the shelf at the Spirit Halloween. Don't look run down at all.
No, it looks like the shit's falling apart to me.
Oh.
Yeah, but
So yes,
dude, I still like it. I'm enjoying it, So I don't.
I enjoy aspects of it, but again, like as soon as like 2 minutes into this episode, here comes Ahsoka with her crossed arms. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, another boring monotone conversation. And they took. Did they not take too long on that training scene?
Yeah.
God damn.
What'd you think of the robot though using the?
I mean, that was cool.
That was kind of neat.
A cool little thing, but yeah, they spent forever on it. I always loved too. Like, I mean, it was one thing in the original Star Wars when he's like, reach out with your feelings and puts the blast shield helmet on him. And then he like blocks those 3 shots. But Luke is force sensitive. He's the son of Vader. Yeah, I like that. It's like everybody's answer is like, wow, you really suck at this. What would work better? Let's make it harder. Like, could you imagine you're learning football? Like you're doing Pee Wee football and they're like, everybody turn your helmet around. Like, like this will make you better at Pee Wee football. Like, stop using that tactic. I don't think it's a good idea.
Please, sir, can I get the basics?
Kids just running into traffic and shit. Like, like, I don't know why that's always the big jump. Like I said, it was cool the first time in the original Star Wars, and now everybody's doing it. It's like, dude, I don't think this is the next step.
Yeah.
Like, man,
Yeah,
you really suck.
there is a lot of stuff wrong with this, but so far I haven't wanted to throw away my Ahsoka hot toys yet.
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah, I haven't. There's been a point where I just want to turn it off. I am definitely getting distracted by my phone while I'm watching, though, and I have to like literally make myself put my phone down. Like, no, pay attention. Something might actually happen. So yeah, I can't watch it intently because it's just not that interesting. It's fucking boring for the most
Give
part.
me a Diet Coke, man.
With a few lightsaber battles that
Fill it
look
up.
cool, but again,
Thanks,
it's
bro.
Ahsoka. We know she's not going to die in a lightsaber battle.
Yeah.
So it's pretty low stakes so far. And I feel like they're going to save everything for the last episode, the Ezra reveal, and then maybe the Thrawn thing. Maybe they're just I hope they
supposedly doing a movie, so maybe they
Right.
are. I don't know.
right. Like Thrawn will be the big bad in the movie or
Yeah.
something, you know?
I don't
Well,
expect
we know Ray Stevens is not coming back, so
Yeah, that
uh,
sucks.
he's
They'll
great.
just CGI his face on. That's what
I
they do
hope
now.
not.
They do like the digital equivalent of fucking Leatherface, and they'll just like fucking
like
sew his
Tarkin,
face onto a digital actor.
like Tarkin.
Yeah, like Grand Moff Tarkin or Princess Leia. Like, yeah, they don't give a shit. They don't give a shit. They will use your dead visage how they see fit.
Yeah, I get your comment though. Like, am I too old for Star Wars? Because it's just like, but what? But then I think about Andor. I'm like, no, I'm not. Just
right. Andor was good. Mandalorian was good.
Just
you
make
know,
it,
like
just
there's
make it
there's
better.
good stuff. Right. Do it better. And it's weird coming from Dave Filoni, but I think he has a story to tell. But I think he's really stretching it the fuck out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love Dave Filoni. I'm not, he's like second to George Lucas, man. He's made a lot of great Star Wars content. So I'm going to keep watching. Hopefully it gets better, but right now it's incredibly slow. I think the good thing that can come from this is maybe viewership drops off and they're just like, okay, guys, let's just get back to making movies. It turns out Disney Plus isn't remotely fucking profitable anyway, so I don't even know why they're making this shit at this point. Apparently it doesn't do shit for their bottom line. So yeah, just go back to movies where people actually have to hand you money for the product right then. That way you know how much money you're making when you release it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a shame.
But
again, I know I shit all over it, but again, every week though, I'm like, I genuinely can't wait for the next episode. I'm like, I want to see what happens, and then nothing happens. And I'm like, damn it. Like, I want to know what's going to fucking happen. And
Steve,
nothing's happening.
You still watching Foundation?
Yes.
Are you caught up?
No, I haven't watched this last week's episode. But what I did finish, and I'm surprised because Kristen sat down with me too, and we both cracked out on Silo, dude.
Oh, did you watch Silo?
We fucking love Silo.
Isn't that good? I told you.
It was so freaking good. And I cannot believe I didn't see the shit in the end.
Oh, yeah. Oh, did you finish the whole thing?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Dude, I fucking I really enjoy Foundation, but Silo hooked me from the get-go, dude.
Yeah. And you Silo, though, you don't think it'd be that good. It's like they can't go anywhere.
Yeah, but
the acting in Silo is superb. I mean, it's
just shrouded in mystery, like every episode, and you just learn a little more and a little more and a little more. And I swear to God, dude, that turbine episode.
Oh yeah, that was intense,
dude. I fucking was crying at the end of that, and not because, dude, I was just overwhelmed with like joy and excitement. And I knew what was going to happen, but I was really into the show, dude. I fucking love this show, and it ended great. Like, I really can't believe I didn't see some of that shit, and I'll
have to check it out.
Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything because
you won't like it. It's sci-fi.
I like sci-fi.
I don't think you do.
No, I do. Because you're going to be surprised. Well, we'll find out how much you like sci-fi. when I make you guys watch some of the Warhammer shit I've been watching. We'll
What
see
is
how into sci-fi you are
Warhammer?
then. What's
Sean,
that?
Sean told me about it this last
See,
week.
I like the sci-fi. I like Blade Runner. I like Dune. Like that's the kind of sci-fi I like. The Star Trek stuff is just I don't know. I think it's just old and slow for me. I'm not going to shit on Star Trek because again, I did like the Abrams movies, but I think that makes it even worse when Trekkies hear that. They
No,
don't like that.
I like J.J. Abrams. I like his
Um,
versions. They do good.
no, I've always been dabbling in what's known as the Warhammer 40K universe. Um, I've always basically it started off in the 80s as a wargaming thing based. Basically, this company called Games Workshop in the early 80s started making miniatures for people who played Dungeons and Dragons. You don't need any type of physical avatar when you play Dungeons and Dragons, but for people who wanted one, uh, they uh, they created these little miniatures, right? And they were, Lord of the Rings type stuff inspired orcs and goblins and humans and dwarves and elves and all that stuff. Well, in order to keep the company going, they're like, we got to come up with something else. People aren't really buying these miniatures. So they came up with Warhammer 40K, which is literally set in the 41st millennium. So it's, 39,000 years from now. And the whole tagline is in the grim darkness of the future, there is only war. So it's basically they created like what is now like the most popular wargaming platform where you have these little miniatures, and they're all not all of them, but the popular ones are Space Marines, and they're just built like tanks, and they just always look cool. I can't tell you the first time I saw them. It was probably in the 90s at a comic book shop, but it wasn't till the early 2000s when I started playing some of the video games based on the property, and they have tons of novels, tons of lore. But it's a strategy based video game for the most part, and then they've come out with some action versions and whatnot too.
Is that the one that Henry Cavill's gonna be doing?
Yes.
Yeah,
Henry Cavill is a Warhammer 40K player. Like
yeah.
he's got his own army and shit, which
He's
is
gonna help
awesome.
produce it. He's super excited.
He's producing it. He's starring in it. I
Yeah.
hope it gets off the ground because it's a very cool property, and I would say it's more informed by something like Dune, to the extent that it's unlike Star Wars is space opera. It's you got your hero type people, and even Dune has a Messiah type or whatever. But this whole the whole setting for this is like the anti Star Wars in that like Star Wars is built on hope. They're always talking about hope. In the Warhammer universe, everything is hopeless. Basically, humanity, they're not fighting to win. They're just delaying their inevitable demise at this point. And it's basically a fascist theocracy. Everybody serves this possibly dead or at least comatose emperor. So you're either conscripted into these armies or you work 20 hours a day making military equipment. Like that's basically your life. And then there's different factions.
So our current future.
Yeah, but pretty much exactly where we're heading.
So it's based on
Republicans
reality.
have their way. Yeah,
Gotcha.
if Republicans have their way, we're just going to become a war machine who works constantly.
Sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, so Cavill basically left The Witcher because they weren't staying true to The Witcher, shit. So that's why he basically left, and then he signed on to this Warhammer thing I was reading about.
And
he's super
it's
stoked.
so cool. Yeah, because it's really cool to get a big name like Cavill who actually loves the property.
That's what I heard. He's super pumped.
And he could be the face of it too. He's a beautiful man, and but also a very popular actor on top of it. So it's fucking pretty cool. I hope it actually gets made. I hope it doesn't end up in development hell because it is dark. I mean, they'd probably have to do some kind of twist on it because literally there's all these like low budget animations and stuff that I have access to through the Warhammer TV app. But it's just everything. It's almost like everything ends like an episode of like Tales from the Crypt. Like it just doesn't go the way, even when the heroes swoop in, it just doesn't quite work out well for everybody. It's always dark. The grim dark. That's where the term grim dark actually comes from. Is from in the grim darkness of the future.
There is no hope. Like I said, there is only war.
Yeah, there's only war. And like I said, I've dabbled in it mostly via video games. They did put out a movie, like a straight to video movie that I bought back in like 2012 or something, that I enjoyed. And now they have Warhammer TV, which is an app I subscribe to.
Dude,
That
Shawn was telling me there's a Warhammer store over there on Mendenhall by the Kroger.
there's Warhammer actual stores. It's called Warhammer. Like it's the biggest name in wargaming miniatures basically, and they have actual, like I said, Games Workshop is the name of who they own the IP. They created it, but and they license stores. So you'll have hobby stores selling at comic book stores and stuff, but they have actual just an actual Warhammer store in Memphis. We have one here, but it's like 40 miles away. And it's just called Warhammer.
I was telling Shawn I need a hobby, and he said you should do Warhammer, and I was like, "Ooh, that sounds way too involved for me."
The one thing I haven't done,
Hey, so it's like it's basically Skylanders, Steve.
I can't.
Yeah, there's a good way to look at it,
dude. No, I didn't have to paint a Skylander. You know, like
okay. So that's the big part of the hobby is you paint the miniatures,
right?
Dude, I don't even respond to a text. I'm not gonna fucking paint something. It's not happening.
But this is why I want to get into it. I was like, I want to paint the mini. I don't know if I'll ever actually play a game, but I would love to paint the miniatures and display them just as a collector.
Yeah,
I think that'd be fun. But that's the one part I haven't done. I bought a starter set back in the late aughts for Logan and Mason, and we never really put it together. But Logan has played it. He took it to his friend's house, who has some Warhammer miniatures, and they have actually played it. But he's not. We've never sat and done the painting, and I'm just like, man, I have all these Warhammer video games that I've always loved. They're coming out with Space Marine 2, I think later this year or next year. Which the first Space Marine was an amazing game, and so I love the universe, but I haven't done like the main part of the universe, which is buying the miniatures, painting the miniatures. But I'm on the verge. I'm on the cusp.
Buy one, paint one, show it to me, and maybe we'll go from there.
It's expensive. It's not something like.
Well, never mind. Yeah. Kristen will say no.
I mean, it's not as expensive as like Hot Toys or something, but it's not a cheap hobby though.
I don't know. Steve spent about $3,000 on Skylanders.
Right.
I did. What the hell was I doing?
These are way cooler than Skylanders. They got chainsaws.
You and Molly both, dude.
What were we doing? Why was I doing that? I don't understand.
I think you were going through something mentally that you were never able to address outwardly, and that was the best way you could cope with it.
The games weren't even that good.
The games weren't good at all. They were made for 4-year-olds.
Yeah, but I was like, I must get every Skylander.
Yeah.
But Warhammer is different because you have all these different factions. It's not just Space Marines, and you can paint them your own. You can put your own flavor on them and stuff, your own paint designs, colors. You can express yourself through your painting, basically. I'm going to be a traditionalist, though, and just go with the generic Ultramarines because that's what I like, because they wear blue, and I'm a simple person. So that would be my starting army. But anyway, they've through this Warhammer TV app, they have some shows they've made that I've really liked, like the Blood Angels show I've really enjoyed. I forget what the other one was called. It was only like a half hour long, but I really enjoyed that one. I love sci-fi. I just don't like Star Trek. That's just not something I'm into. But yeah, sci-fi itself, great stuff.
When you said that was pretty much hopeless, and the title of the episode was Blood Angels, I was like, yeah, that fits.
No, the Blood Angels are a faction of good guys.
Oh, wow, it is dark.
It is dark. Well, they literally, one of their weapons is a chainsaw. It's a sword that's a chainsaw, and it's like, so yeah. I mean, they're just chopping through people, and like it's, and the Space Marines themselves, like they're basically these humans who've been experimented on and put in this armor. And like they've had like organ replacement and all this stuff, and they're like 8 feet tall now, and everything is for the Emperor. The Emperor protects, and so they're all like these religious zealots too.
Cybermen.
None of them, they've never even met the Emperor.
Sci-fi, Doctor Who.
But see, the element that's missing from sci-fi that keeps me away is
the gore.
No. I love gore, and well, I love gore, but no, I mean, the element that keeps me away is when it's like a futuristic movie or setting, and then everybody's dressed just like basically the same as we are now. I hate that. Like I need the costuming. I need the Space Marines. I need the Jedi cloaks and stuff like that. I want to see like cool costumes. When I don't see that, I'm like, oh, this is boring.
Well,
Dude,
how
see,
the hell do you not like the Fifth Element then? I don't understand what's going
okay,
on.
that's because that goes too far. Like those designs are ridiculous.
Ruby Rye, you got Gary, what's his name, with that fucking plastic shield over his face?
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman, thank you. You got Lilu with the fucking bandages as an outfit. Come on, man.
Yeah, that one goes. See, I like Blade Runner is about they do just enough. Blade Runner does just enough that I'm like, okay, they look cool. Fifth Element goes too far. Star Wars is like that perfect in between, and then armored anything. I'm gonna be into for the most part. Gears of War, which probably based on 40K. But yeah, the Star Trek costumes that was a very cheap show. They
you don't like the onesies?
Yeah, I'm not into the Star Trek costumes. They're very boring.
They are pretty boring. Those are.
And then watching the Star Trek the motion picture and literally Captain Kirk, it looks like my dentist in his outfit. Like all he needed was an apron, basically, and it's like, oh, he's a dentist now. Great outfit, great costume design. Yeah, I need visually appealing stuff. And speaking of that, anybody watch the Zack Snyder Rebel Moon trailer?
What? No. That's out? Oh, fuck,
the trailer. Yeah.
Oh shit.
So Rebel Moon was basically a movie he pitched to Lucasfilm to be a Star Wars movie, like an R-rated Star Wars movie, and they said no. So he turned it into his own thing, and he is, aside from being Zack Snyder and just generally being a poor filmmaker, with a few exceptions, he's done the one thing that I hate, which is nobody looks cool. And then when he tries to do costumes, it goes too far. It goes very Hunger Games or Fifth Element, where when the costuming is like, it's just too ornate and absurd looking. And I'm like, oh, it's not even cool looking. But he has lightsabers in it. It's just basically a straight up Star Wars knockoff, but without any cool costumes whatsoever.
What? So what do they call them? Laser swords?
They don't say what they're called, but I mean, they're lightsabers is what they are. I don't know if they ever even address what they are. I think that's pretty bold. I don't think I've ever seen anybody in like a major property actually just wholly rip off lightsabers.
Right? That's what I was thinking. I was like, man, the cojones on that guy. That's
right. Just straight up. And I'm sure they'll have some other in-world explanation for what they are or whatever. But yeah, check out the Rebel Moon trailer. I'm going to watch the movie, or at least I'm going to try. I don't know that I'll be able to finish it. I could barely finish the fucking trailer. So, but yeah, I need cool costumes. I do. I need that theatrical element to my sci-fi for me to get into it. Typically, not necessarily always. Like I tried to watch that show, The Expanse. Everybody was talking about that a few years ago.
I think I made it through the first season. I think.
Okay, but again, I was like, there weren't any cool costumes on display. I was immediately like, God damn it. I need to, like, that's one of the things that kept me into Battlestar Galactica is like, I kind of liked, they had some interesting outfits on the ship that looked a little bit futuristic. They didn't look, like outfits we already have, just with a few extra things on it. They actually put a little thought into the production design, which I appreciate.
You like the costumes, just don't go too far. All right, check. Gotcha.
Yeah, when they start doing like the hair squiggles and you know what I mean, and the big frilly collars and shit like that, I'm just like, God damn it. Going backwards. I don't like it. I'm gonna send Rob a picture of some Space Marine armor here. Get you on board with this shit.
I'm gonna ignore your text.
You know what's gonna happen? Rob's gonna have a whole Warhammer?
Yeah.
He's going to have a whole Warhammer set next time we see him. He's going to be painting in his garage.
I will not.
Yeah, that's a picture of my favorite faction. That's the Ultramarines. That's the Space Marine armor. It's the kind of shit they're into.
Yeah, cool.
The crazy big guns. Like the guns don't look like a fucking razor phone. Like in Star Trek. Like I hate it. Like I like the cool, ridiculous looking shit. I don't care if it's practical. I just care if it looks cool.
Yeah.
Because it's fantasy. But yeah.
Man, if my mom wouldn't have gone psycho for a year, we could have been playing Dungeons and Dragons.
We could have been, man. We could have had this shit.
Could have been involved. Awesome. We would have been like computer nerds too and stuff. Like, could be in like IT. We'd be millionaires right now.
I mean, I know I've told the story of when my cousin came over and we played. We did a one-man D&D thing. He was the dungeon master, I was the player, and I was so excited because I'd heard how satanic this game was, and then we played Dungeons and like he did the DM thing, and it was basically just like rolling dice, and it was like, where does Satan get involved? I don't see any. There's no satanic stuff here whatsoever.
Only the best of the best get to meet Satan.
When playing Dungeons and Dragons. No, I do want to.
Do
So
you have
I
what
want
it takes to
Silo
meet the
show.
Dark Lord?
Like you gotta roll really high on the dice to do it. You gotta have the 20-sided die.
You're like, that's it?
Yeah, people are just afraid of young people's imaginations is what sparked that scare, basically. It's like young people are getting together and using their imagination to tell stories. We can't have that.
Not about.
They're like, we got to tell, they can only tell these imaginary stories from this particular book. Those are the only stories that they can tell. This made up bullshit where God just destroys humanity every other chapter, basically. Like, that's the good, holy stuff right there.
All right, let's get to Preacher, because now that you're talking about the Bible and everything,
Oh, my goodness.
I'm thinking about angels and demons fucking. Like, I need more of that in my life. I want more of that.
All right, so Preacher, I guess, came out around 1995. I discovered it probably 3-4 years later. Comic shop guy recommended it to me. And man, blew me away, dude. It was a dark night moment for me. I'd never seen anything this twisted and violent in a comic book. And it was published by DC. And it was blowing my mind. Written by Garth Ennis, my boy, my favorite Punisher writer. He's also going to be at the Comic Expo in Memphis, so I'm going to have to chat with that fella. Chat with that bloke. I think he's like Scottish or Irish.
After
and I'm sure
I
if I get
pay
that wrong,
$125 to get in his vicinity.
But he's the writer, and then Steve Dillon, who also worked with him on Punisher, rest in peace, Steve Dillon, handles the interior artwork. It is a story about a man named Jesse Custer, his ex-girlfriend, soon-to-be rekindled romance, Tulip, and a vampire named Cassidy. And basically what happens is Jesse Custer is a pastor, a preacher, and he gets possessed, kind of. Not really possessed, but he gets like this powerful force. Gets imbued, that's a good word. He gets imbued with this powerful force that turns out to be something called Genesis. And Genesis is the byproduct of a demon and an angel fucking for the first time. And this creature, this Genesis, is so scary is that the day it was born, God vacated heaven and no one can find him. And this all sounds crazy outlandish, but I swear to God, this is like such a, like, it's not told in a crazy outlandish way. Like, this is very much told from an everyman point of view almost, with these three characters, Jesse, Tulip, and Cassidy. Her name's Tulip, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was thinking, man, is it another flower?
Don't forget ass face.
Arse face. And so I don't know if you guys, when I talked to Steve, he hadn't read the whole book. I read this whole book, so it's 2 full stories. Rob, if you didn't read both stories, don't feel bad. I didn't realize it was this long. It's 350 pages almost of story, but I read them both because I remember loving them back in the day. And man, the second story is even better than the first one in this. But you know, the first one's the intro story. It sets up all the stuff I just said. You have like, I love how they show the facility in heaven where they are like keeping Genesis and how it broke out. And then you got the angels arguing with each other. It's just, drinking, everything is so
drinking.
What's that?
They're drinking.
Yeah, and everybody's just like so like matter of fact about, you know, they're angels and they're like, oh fuck, this is your fault, Brian. You know what I mean? Like everything is, and I love that writing. Like everybody's just played as human to an extent, and it's, oh man,
it's like different.
There's
like different sects of angels, and each one does different. Like one's more of like the war angels, and one's like the thinker angels or whatever.
Yeah. Right, you have the scientists, you have the warriors, and all these different factions, and you know, so the warriors I think are in charge, right? God left them in charge. Was that it?
Yeah.
When he vacated heaven. And Jesse Custer basically is on a quest to find God. He wants God to answer for his, how dare you fucking leave us humans? You know, it's very,
yes,
it's
and because
almost like an allegory.
and because he has Genesis inside him, he's very powerful and as powerful as God, right?
He speaks the word of God, basically. Whatever he says,
so he can channel
do.
this power from Genesis and change his voice. And when he tells you to do, it's kind of like the villain from the first Jessica Jones series, where
David Tennant,
and where basically he tells you to do something, you do it. There's no questions asked. You have to do it. It's the power of God. And one of my favorite things that, if I wasn't already sucked in, is when he tells a sheriff to go fuck himself.
Yeah.
And we see the aftermath of that.
Oh,
not only was it a sheriff, but it was a racist ass sheriff,
Right. He had it coming.
Yeah. And he told him to go fuck himself, which means that he ripped off his own dick and then shoved it up his ass.
And at least tried to, from what we understand. And then he, to the surprise of no one, ended up killing himself. And thereby, Jesse Custer created Arseface.
If my dick was gone, I'd kill myself too.
Yeah, if you just torn your own dick off, oh my God.
I'm no good. I'm out.
It really tells you that the level of depravity that Garth Ennis is willing to go. And again, he did it in Punisher, but man, it's fucking great. And I watched a little bit of the show, but the show just wasn't nailing it for me. Like, this comic's so fucking good, and they adapted it, and it wasn't bad, but it wasn't.
Was it as dark and fucked up as the comic?
Not in my opinion. But also it was decompressed as hell. Like, it took them like a whole season to tell the first story, basically. Yeah. That's all I watched was like some of the first season, and they stretched it out so much that it was just like, to me, it wasn't doing the comic justice. But apparently there were like 4 seasons of this show.
I like the girl they got to play Tulip. I forget what her name is. She was good. And Dominique played the preacher. Dominique Cooper. Yeah, he was good.
I gotta check this show out.
I was trying to find it. I think you can get it free on Pluto or something like that with commercials, but I couldn't really find it.
What did it come out on? FX or something?
I think it was AMC. It was like post Walking Dead.
Yeah, it's cleaned up quite a bit. It's cleaned up because when I started reading the comic, I was like, "Holy shit!"
It's that cleaned up, man. I don't want clean.
Well, it was on
still
TV.
Bloody.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's got its
It's like Walking Dead level. You get some gore.
Does it follow the storylines?
You're not getting the language you were getting.
No, you're not getting the sacrilege.
It kind of falls
down a bit too.
Do we we don't get the religious grandma?
I don't know if they ever got to the.
I don't remember.
Dude, this comic was so fucked up, dude.
I don't remember the show that much.
This is the book that Shawn got me to start reading comics. This is what he gave me first.
Did it work?
Do you think I gave this to you before Dark? I feel like I gave you Dark Knight Returns first. I don't feel like I started you off in this. That seems. I gave it to you early. I will say that, but I think I gave you Dark Knight Returns first. I could be wrong.
Okay, well, you gave me 2, so it's a 50-50 shot. It was either Preacher or Dark Knight. I'm assuming it was Dark Knight Returns first, but very soon thereafter, Preacher was it.
I might have given it to you both at the same time. I don't know. But yeah, I just thought it would, it grabbed me, man. It was like there was something there that it was different than if I had handed you a fucking issue of Spider-Man. I just felt like, oh, this will get it.
It was too, dude. I don't remember any of it except for Arseface. That's the only thing I remember. It's like I think of all this stuff. Like, I just wasn't ready for it then, like I hadn't experienced enough things in life, like I wasn't ready for it. And then reading it again, I'm like, oh my God, this comic was fucking amazing, dude. It was so good, so fucked up, so torturous, man. Like, I felt so bad so many times reading this, especially when Jesse's father's killed, by these crazy religious fucking zealots. And oh man, and the way he gets retribution in the end, I'm like, yes, give me all of that Give me all of that. I want that revenge.
You didn't. Spoiler alert. I didn't give my usual spoiler alert, but
No,
we're
you
well
didn't.
into it. Retroactive spoiler alert. Dude, when they just kill Tulip, you're just like, oh shit.
Right?
Like you don't expect them to kill Tulip,
Right.
you know?
And
Like,
not only they kill her, they showed her brains getting blown out the back of her fucking skull.
yeah.
And I was like,
Courtesy
oh,
of Steve Dillon.
it's over. It is over. But they did
Yeah.
bring her back. God brought her back, apparently.
God did that, man.
Yeah. God.
But yeah, that second story especially resonated with me. Having a fucking psycho religious mom. Jesse definitely had it worse, but you still relate to it though. People using God and the Bible and religion to justify their actions.
Jesus, sounds like politics right now.
And so yeah, that whole thing, just Jesse grew up horribly abused, just trying to escape from it. That all that resonated with me a lot.
Dude,
Love that whole story.
The coffin stuff, that
Oh man,
really resonated. Like I can never forget that. Like they put him to discipline him as what was he, like 12 years old? I don't even know how
yeah, he was
old
a
he
kid.
was.
He was very young.
They dump him in this coffin, drop him in a lake, and they just supply him with air and maybe some water or something, because he's there for like 10
No,
days.
I think they let him dehydrate and stuff. I don't know if they gave him.
Well, you
anything.
can't survive 10 days without water, so they must
This is
have
a comic book though.
Right. Whatever. But when they let him out, he's pissed and shit himself and vomited him all over himself, and that's what you see when he comes out. And it's just like visuals like that just stick with you,
And the conversations and the facial expressions, man. Steve Dillon really delivers on the rage that Jesse feels in the situations that he ends up put in. Man, but the other thing about that I feel like we're leaving out is the sense of humor, though, too. There's a very dark sense of humor running through this series. That again, Garth Ennis, man, it's something he's always been good at, and it's definitely here.
Dude,
the
interaction
especially in the
between
first story,
the FBI guy and the police captain was fabulous, man. It was so good and so funny.
This is a 4 out of 4 comic. Easy, in my opinion. Artwork and story come together. Steve Dillon, I love his art style. It's very unique.
Fucked up shit, man.
It might seem plain or whatever, but man, I love Steve Dillon. He really conveys emotion really well in his facial expressions, and he's a crisp artist. You can always tell what's going on in any panel. Sometimes you look at something and you can kind of be like, where's that arm coming from? You know what I mean? Everything's like real crisp and laid out incredibly well. And then Garth Ennis just, his way with words, like I said, I think he's Irish, but he just has a way with words and with creating characters, believable characters, instantly making you like or dislike a character, basically.
Right. So what about Cassidy? You hate vampires, but he was written very
he's
well.
great. No, that I hate the vampire trope, but like that again, different take on a vampire. He is a vampire, but again, kind of a down to earth one. He's out there doing drugs and fucking basically. He's not living in some palace or whatever. He's just dressed like everybody else, having a good time basically. And I love Cassidy. Again, lots of character there. Every one of these characters is fleshed out. Nobody gets short shrift, basically, of his trio of characters.
I like how John Wayne is like his conscience after watching his father die.
Yeah,
like
he's
he
been through so
appears.
much trauma that he creates this version of John Wayne, who is like his cheerleader. His
we didn't know
therapist.
In the beginning, like what was going on in those scenes, and remember he was watching TV. They showed a flashback.
It was basically
John Wayne was talking to him like through the TV.
Yeah, it was
and
like
then you also see him like off. They don't show him like talking to him or something.
It was a manifestation that just kept him going after all the trauma he'd been through. It was just something to keep him moving forward.
Yeah.
It was really good. What was the most fucked up thing you thought in that comic?
The most fucked up thing.
Because there's a lot of stuff, man. There's a lot of stuff.
Just that grandma character in general, man. Just like again, just using God and religion to justify every evil thing she did, basically. You can't wait to see what happens to her.
I was like, why'd they have to kill that one-eyed kid that was his
Oh my
friend?
God.
I was like, yeah.
They nailed a live dog to a fence. Like, that's how evil these people were, man. Like,
Dude,
it doesn't get much more evil than that.
Where's John Wick when you need him, man?
And he's just like, and the guy who did it is just like, oh, shut up, you pussy. Like, they're so fucked up, man. These characters are so fucked up.
They're not far from people that exist. I swear to
No,
God.
that's the thing, is like, that's how, yeah. I mean, they're caricatures to an extent, but also they're absolutely people like that.
Yeah, he like the one guy shot Jesse's dad, and he's like, "Suck it up, you crybaby."
Yeah,
I'm like, what?
Like, that's his response. Like, it's just, woo-wee. That's one thing Garth Ennis has always been good at, creating really fucked up villains for Punisher or Jesse in this. They deliver, man. They're like Clarence Boddicker level villains. Clarence Boddicker is like, he's from RoboCop, if you don't know, but that was like the first villain I saw in a movie that fucking scared me.
Yeah, that dude was.
It's like it was just believable. Everything he did was like, I think this guy's real. I don't even think this is an actor.
I like how you say what used to scare me. Like, no, that guy still terrifies me.
Can you fly, Bobby?
What'd you think of our space though? Like his whole
oh my God,
his whole story. He liked Nirvana a lot.
Yeah,
so.
Shoots his own face off trying to imitate Kurt Cobain, and clearly is has an intellectual disability now. You couldn't help but feel bad for him, but also you can't help but laugh that his word balloons are all just fucking and then they would have like the little asterisk so you could go down and read the translation of everything he's saying, which is hilarious, and you feel fucking guilty for laughing at it at the same time.
Do you think
like, oh,
you think his dad knew what he was talking about, or you think his dad?
I think that's why I didn't respond to him.
Yeah.
Ever. He didn't. I mean, he was disappointed in him. Didn't want to talk to him, but he
talked to him
saying
before he shot himself.
But. It's like, oh my God, it's so fucked up, man.
Yeah, that was what stuck with me.
Man.
That guy. Once again, this is a comic. Sean's like, "Hey, would you like to get into comics?" Here you go.
You know what though? This was post Pulp Fiction, right? Like, I remember I had to drag your ass to Pulp Fiction.
Oh, speaking of Pulp Fiction, movie. Did you see the Pulp Fiction poster in this comic?
Oh yeah. In the background,
yeah. Okay, I was wondering if you guys caught that.
Yeah, it was in that one guy's apartment, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't.
But this was post Pulp Fiction, so this kind of stuff. I mean, this is a little more outlandish than Pulp Fiction, but still, Pulp Fiction definitely had an element of that, like that gory, surprise gore type stuff, surprise sexual assault type stuff.
Right. Fucked up situations.
So that's why I was like, dude, you got to see this. This is post Tarantino, man. Like this will get you into comics if nothing else. Meanwhile, Steve's like, I think I need to do that exorcism thing that my mom did.
Like, I have to put this down and go do something.
Like, I want to read a Bible for some reason. I feel very dirty. But yeah, that's where I was with comics. I went from like Venom and Spawn into this. It seemed like a natural evolution. And I was just like, man, comics are so good. And I wanted to get it in so many people's hands. And you were the first. And nobody felt the same way at the time, or nobody I knew anyway. It was popular to an extent. But yeah, Evan Goldberg and Seth Rogen got it made into a show. Same guys who got The Boys made, which is also Garth Ennis. Boys is a little fucked up. It seems like they're a little more faithful to the boys in the show.
Well, they can be because they can say and
it's
show
Amazon Prime
everything.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And whoever, and the producers are giving them carte blanche too. They're just like, yeah, you could explode a penis and show it in close up. That's fine. We can do that. We can do all the things, which is great. It's good to see. And also producing Invincible. She's getting all the good stuff out there.
So Preacher is worth watching or no?
I don't know.
I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I forget how. I don't know now what I feel about it now that you know the whole story. Like, I don't know.
I was disappointed. I wasn't like horribly disappointed, but I was also expected it to be milder.
It's a lot slower than the comic.
A hell of a lot slower. Yeah,
Yeah.
this comic fucking moves, man.
Wow.
No decompression here,
Yeah.
man. Just great storytelling.
That's what after
great characters.
After like 20 pages, I was like, I think that was the entire first season.
Yeah. Yeah. It fucking moves.
And then
it's good shit.
I don't know if I finished it. I don't remember.
So here's the great thing. If you're signed up for Comixology Plus or Comixology Unlimited, it's like $6 a month on Amazon. This first volume we read is called Gone to Texas. Is free. It's free to read if you pay your $6 a month. I highly recommend the Comixology Unlimited service because there's a lot of free shit on there.
Yeah, when I was like, I don't know if he's got this because it wouldn't come up, and then it came up, and then I was making sure I wasn't paying for anything. I was like, oh, okay, it's okay.
So how far have you read the Preacher series? Have you gone to the very end, or?
No, I think I got about halfway through it, and then it was just one of those things where I kind of got out of comics for a while, and I've never gone back to see how it ends. Like I need to. It's only like I think a total of 66 issues, which is, I mean, it's a lot, but it's not a lot. It tells the whole story. It's about five years worth of comics, basically. And this was the first 12 issues.
Yeah, so we read about a fifth of it. I was just curious to wonder if God ever had to account for leaving heaven or anything.
Yeah, I don't even know how it ends. I never finished it, and I know that doesn't sound like a great glowing recommendation, but again, I have the attention span of a gnat, and sometimes I'm just like, I'm fucking done with comics, doing something else now, and then I always inevitably go back, but something else catches my eye, some other shiny thing, and but yeah, I really do want to keep reading it though. I wish it was part of DC Infinite, but I guess being as X-rated as it is,
I'll read it.
Little hardcore.
I'll let you know. I really liked it.
So, are you going to keep reading it?
Yeah, I can't believe the only thing I remember is Arseface, though. I mean, that visual just stuck in my head, man. That was the only thing I remember.
So you're saying though that maybe I jumped the gun a little bit.
Yeah, dude. Like I mean, you know me. I've grown up with you. You were way more advanced than I was. You know, it took me a while to bloom. I
just thought maybe because it wasn't superheroes. I think that was probably my thinking was like, well, this isn't superheroes, so maybe he'll like it more.
Well, yeah, there's other stuff that's not superheroes that doesn't go so far.
But it was what I liked. I liked the thing, so I just like to share my joy, man. That's why I made you watch Clerks. That's why I dragged you to see Pulp Fiction. I'm just trying to share, like, oh, this thing is awesome. I need somebody else to experience this awesomeness with me.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get
it, but you do know that I was raised in a different household. Like
I do forget that people aren't as, I want to say this without sounding like I'm patting myself on the back here, but people aren't as I don't know. I'm down for really gross shit, and what people might consider shocking is not shocking to me. I forget that somebody might find this shocking.
Yeah, I was a lot more sheltered.
Yeah. And yeah, so for me, it was just like, oh, this is great. This speaks to who I am as a person. Meanwhile, people are like, you need mental help. I'm like, what? Oh, I thought it was a good story.
No, but it's like, you know, like you saw religion as something that was horrible. And you just never would you ever want to ever become religious. Whereas I grew up having parents that were religious, but I didn't find it.
They weren't my mom. They weren't Stephen King characters like my mom was. So that was my experience, and that's the lens I view religion through, because that was my own personal experience. And but yeah, you had a different experience. You only got a little bit of the lunacy.
Yeah.
And without the violence, without the abuse.
Right.
So,
so, you know, like, I swear it was only like a couple of years ago where I stopped being scared of stupid shit like that, you know? So I think when I read Preacher at the time, I was like, I can't read this, you know, this is fucking.
He's like, I got to take a bath.
This is sacrilege.
But yeah, 4 out of 4, 10 out of 10, whatever scale. This is just fantastic storytelling, artwork. It all comes together. Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon they're a great team, man. Here on The Punisher, it's just fantastic stuff. Yeah, if you're not into if this type of stuff is shocking, then you might not enjoy it. But
No, that's
I'm
all the
trying to
more reason.
desensitize.
No, that's all the more reason to read it because it is shocking.
Right?
It's great.
I've been trying to desensitize Rob over time, get him used to this insanity. I know sex criminals did not go over well.
I just don't
Rob, what are your thoughts?
I don't like fucked up shit, man. I mean, this was really good because he does a good job building the characters. I mean, you immediately, it's good storytelling. I mean, I can appreciate that. This is some fucked up shit, man. I don't like life like that. I want to live in the fairy tale a little bit,
That's what I was telling.
I don't like reality, man.
But that is like there's a lot of situations, like maybe not to that extreme. I'm sure it's happened, but that is a lot of stuff that's relevant.
Nothing in that comic hasn't happened in real life. I'm sure, except for the angel shit. But
right, I was gonna say the God stuff, maybe not.
Yeah,
but yeah, I've seen enough true crime thanks to Maggie now that I know full well that there's fucked up people, and just my own personal experience with a religious evil fucking mother. So like unfortunately that shit's real. It's much more real than
I don't mind a happy ending, man.
So they might
I thought it was happy,
somewhat happy ending.
When that grandma got set on fire, I was like, yeah.
But I mean, another violent ending for somebody else. I
don't know that happy.
It's all
happy
relative.
Might not be the word. Satisfying might be a better word.
I love people getting shot at the convenience store. It's so good, it's. I don't know, man.
Dude, when you fucking
That's why I don't watch the news because I don't like to hear all the bad shit all the time.
You're telling me when Jody nailed the dog to the post, and then you see Jody die in the end, you weren't like, yes.
But it started with the dog getting nailed to the post. It's I mean, sure.
I wanted that guy to get raised from the dead and then get murdered again. That's how much I wanted that guy to die.
Yeah, he's got a great shorthand for making you hate people right away. I fucking love it.
Yeah, like when that Flash character kills those people in the beginning of The Boys. I was like, I can't wait to I want to see that guy.
That was straight out of the comic too.
Yeah,
I haven't read all The Boys.
Even The Boys is a tough watch for. I mean, it's like,
I love it. All right, so we're coming up on 2 hours here, so we got to wrap it up. I got a show picked out. Well, I have a couple options. One, I got the Warhammer thing. The other option I was telling Steve about is I know you guys never finished watching the 10 episode Masters of the Universe Netflix thing. At least I don't think you guys finished it.
I thought there were two. Which one is it?
What do you mean? There's the one by Kevin Smith. It was a 2-parter.
The one with She-Ra?
No, She-Ra's not involved.
You mean
what's the other girl?
Tila.
Yeah.
Did you finish it? It was a 2-parter. Did you finish the second half?
It was 5 episodes and then 5 episodes.
Yeah, no.
10 episodes.
I never went back.
All right. So we're going to do that. We'll do the Warhammer another time. But yeah, Masters of the Universe Revelation. Okay. It's on Netflix. It's 10 episodes. I would like to get the opinions of people who basically don't give a shit about He-Man, because I have my take that is, clearly rooted in being, knowing the lore, whatever lore there actually is, but just, being a fan of the property, being a fan of the show, being a fan of the figures, being a fan of the comics, growing up with it. I know for whatever reason it passed Steve over. I don't know if it was because of the church or whatever.
No, I was reading Preacher at the time, I think.
Yeah, he was already on Preacher, so he wasn't about to watch that juvenile shit.
It's beneath me.
But yeah, and I know Rob was just too old for it. I mean, this was a show that was, they say it was geared 5 to 10. I think it was more 5 to 8 at best. But
did you talk to Keith? He's the only other He-Man fan I know besides you. Did he finish it, or did he just?
Oh no, he couldn't stand it.
Oh, he couldn't make it. Oh,
and my other friend Mark, he's also a He-Man fan. Men of a certain age are that's just who we are. He couldn't finish it either, and I can't blame them. So I need somebody to talk to about this shit that's actually watched it. So
Well,
it
I
falls
think I
on your
watched the
shoulders.
first 2 episodes, and I was like, I don't think I like He-Man.
Well, now you got to watch 10 episodes to
I mean, I
determine if you like He-Man or not.
remember Steve, and I remember him watching He-Man and She-Ra, like after school, and
Okay.
I'd
Do
be
you
in the
remember
room.
me
Steve doesn't
watch?
even remember that.
Yeah, I was like, do you remember watching me watching a lot? Because I don't really like. I never really liked He-Man.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean,
I
I
just
didn't
want to,
really follow it. I mean, I knew the story, but I never had the toys or anything. I mean, I think
and
I
that's
was.
what I mean. That's what I want. I figure you guys will probably have a different perspective on it, since you have no real link to the property, basically.
Yeah, I don't think I could care
I
less.
mean, I think I would have liked it, but Mom told me it was Satan, so I
Satan was in it.
so
Satan was in every episode.
right.
Um,
So I was like,
uh,
I remember everybody talking about the Castle Grayskull, and I'm like, I'd love to talk to you
Skeletor.
about it, but I'm not allowed to
I
watch
have a
it.
Castle Gray. You can't see it, but I have a Castle Gray skull back. It's still in the box. I've had it. They re-released it about 2 years ago.
You,
I still haven't even. I don't have anywhere to display it, but I have it finally.
you got your
It's
He-Man
back here.
stuff up there underneath Batman there.
Yeah, and I got more.
Oh, I watched The Flash last night before I went to bed. Well, we started it and then I finished it
What, the
last
movie?
night.
Had you seen it
Yeah,
before?
yeah.
Oh, okay,
It's
I
not
couldn't remember.
it's not that bad. It's really not.
I like
Yeah.
the Flash.
The
I liked it.
Batman
I
shit is
enjoyed
cool. I wish they would have done a Batman movie with Ben Affleck. I think it would.
it.
But his suit, I like that suit he's got, that gray and blue. I was like,
It's
man, that
very
is
Dark
cool
Knight
as shit.
Returns. Yeah,
I was like, man. But
Yeah, well, we're all in agreement. We love the Batman part.
But the CGI, I guess watching it on, because I was watching it when I was in bed, and it's just it didn't seem as bad on like an old TV, you know. I mean, it's HD, but it's not like it's a wet.
I
My
liked it.
TV is
Even
in
with
the
the
bedroom
shitty
is a Westinghouse. I was like, it was a good story though. It was really very.
the washer and dryer.
It's
brain.
very It was very emotional. I mean, I thought they did a good job.
I did too. I like I said, I gave it like a 7, maybe even a
Yeah, I
7
think
and a
I
half.
might
I
have liked
enjoyed
it
the movie.
more watching it the second time. I was like, isn't a bad movie.
I understand Steve's take though, as a fan. Again, especially thinking about He-Man, what they did to my boy, and I think that's how Steve feels about what they did to his
Michael
boy
Keaton
with the
is fucking
Flash.
awesome, dude. That was so great. The
Yeah.
Batman shit is cool in the Flash.
I like the Flash stuff though too.
That was good.
So, but yes, sorry, Steve.
Sorry. It's all right, man. I've dealt with that.
I get it. I understand where you're coming from. I'm not going to convince you otherwise because they took a character you liked and just basically turned him inside out.
It's all right.
And,
I've dealt with that trauma. You guys can talk about it.
Is that what we're gonna say about He-Man next week?
Well, no, you guys. Yeah, you might be like, oh, I thought it was pretty good. I don't know. I'm very curious. I'm looking forward to it.
My opinion.
So we've only seen 2 episodes.
Does it get better?
I think it does get better.
Okay. All right.
I think there's still a lot of elements that are disappointing for me, but I think
you think
I think if I try to
yeah
the stuff that I don't like. I mean, I'm not saying you won't notice, but I don't think you'll care as much.
I guess I'll have to start over again because
just start it over.
I don't remember. I just remember there was a lot. I was like, where the hell is He-Man? It seems to be about Tila.
Yeah, and that's my biggest issue. That's like the hardcore fans. But however, there is stuff to like, but I'll save that for next week. I don't want to do a two-parter on this.
Of Mark Hamill. I remember that. I was like, dude, Mark Hamill is like fucking awesome. Like the Joker, and then I remember when I did watch it, I was like, oh, that's Mark Hamill. I was like,
oh, did you hear Elaine Sorkin died?
Yep.
Who?
Arlene Sorkin.
Arlene Sorkin?
I'm sorry.
I sent it in the group chat. Like, I sent it to the old group chat.
Who's Arlene Sorkin?
She was the voice of Harley Quinn.
Oh, of Harley Quinn, yeah.
Oh, wow. She was basically the inspiration for the character, too.
Right.
It was basically created by her friend for her. And like, her name's Arlene Sorkin. Her name is Harleen Quinn. But yeah, I think, I don't know if it's Paul Dini or Bruce Timm or some combination or something like that, but they basically created that character for her to play the character. So
she's got a great, such a unique voice.
I guess Paul Dini was watching an episode of she was on some soap opera, Days of Our Lives, I think.
Is she related to Aaron Sorkin?
No idea.
I don't know. But anyway, he was watching an episode of a soap opera she was on, and there was like she was dressed in like a jester outfit, and I guess
I've seen a still of that. Yeah, she looked like Harley Quinn basically.
yeah. So he's like, yeah, let's get this character going.
Yeah, she was like the inspiration for the character basically, and she
Mm-hmm.
wasn't that old. I don't think she was 70 years old yet. So definitely a big loss.
I'm so I'm so not gonna make it to 70. Like, now that I'm getting older, I think about dying all the time, and I'm just like, ain't no way I'm making it to fucking 80. There ain't no fucking way.
All right, we're gonna wrap this episode up. We'll be back next week. Thanks for listening.
Wait, I wanted to talk about death more.
Ciao.